मुनव्वर कमाल BA फर्स्ट ईयर के विद्यार्थी हैं कि वो तशरीफ़ लाएं और तिलावत कलाम पाक फरमाएं।
अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाह। अऊज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। या अय्युहल्लज़ीना आमनू ला यस्खर क़ौमुम मिन क़ौम असा अन يكونوا خيرا منهم ولا نساء من نساء عسى أن يكن خيرا منهن ولا تلمزوا أنفسكم ولا تنابزوا بالألقاب بئس الاسم الفسوق بعد الإيمان ومن لم يتب فأولئك هم الظالمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اجتنبوا كثيرا من الظن إن بعض الظن إثم إن بعض الظن إثم ولا تجسسوا ولا يغتب بعضكم بعضا أيحب أحدكم أن يأكل لحم أخيه ميتا فكرهتموه واتقوا الله إن الله تواب رحيم. يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. صدق الله العظيم.
اب میں نویدن کروں گا ذکر عقیل سے کہ وہ اس کا ٹرانسلیشن پرستت کرے.
السلام علیکم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. O ye who believe, let not some men among you laugh at others. It may be that are better than the former. Nor let some women laugh at others. It may be that are better than the former. Nor defame, nor be sarcastic to each other, connoting wickedness after he has believed, and those who do not desist are doing wrong. O ye who believe, avoid suspicion as possible, for suspicion in some cases is a sin. And spy not on each other, nor speak ill of each other behind their backs. Would any of you like to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Nay, ye would abhor it. But fear Allah, for Allah is of returning most merciful. O mankind, we created you from a single pair of a male and a female, and made you into nations and tribes, that ye may know each other. Verily, the most honored of you in the sight of Allah. He is the most righteous of you, and Allah has full knowledge and well acquainted. Thank you.
تلاوت قرآن کے بعد اب یہ آوشک ہے، ضروری ہے کہ ہم اپنے مہمانوں کا استقبال کریں، اور اس وشے میں میں سب سے پہلے پروفیسر اقتدار محمد خان اپنے ساتھی کو آواز دوں گا، وہ تشریف لائیں اور ہمارے مہمان خصوصی جناب شیخ الجامعہ صاحب کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. اسحاق صاحب سے میں درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ ہمارے سوامی جی مہاراج کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. سید محمد شاہد صاحب سے میں درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ مولانا جلال الدین عمری صاحب کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. محمد ارشد صاحب سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ سوامی شاندانندا صاحب کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. مفتی مشتاق صاحب سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ ورما صاحب کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. محمد خالد خان سے درخواست کروں گا کہ وہ ہم سب کے استاد پروفیسر اختر الواسع صاحب کو پلانٹ پیش کریں. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. جناب صدر، مہمانان گرامی، حاضرین جلسہ، میرے پیارے طلبہ اور طالبات، جیسا کہ آپ سب حضرات جانتے ہیں کہ ہندوستان بہت سے دھرموں اور ان گنت زبانیں بولنے والوں کا دیش ہے. اسلام بھی ان میں سے ایک دھرم ہے. جو خشکی کے راستے سندھ تک اور اس کے بعد کیرل اور کوکن کے ساحلی علاقوں تک پہنچا اور ہندوستان میں ایک مقبول مذہب بن کر رہا۔ یہی وجہ تھی کہ یہاں کی لگ بھگ ہر برادری نے اس کو قبول کیا۔ ہمارے مذہب کا اختلاف ہمارے رہن سہن میں کسی طرح کے بھید بھاؤ کا کارن نہیں بنا، بلکہ مسلمان اور ہندو دونوں ہی شہروں، قصبوں اور گاؤں میں اس طرح رہتے رہے کہ جیسے ایک کنبے کے لوگ رہا کرتے ہیں، ایک دوسرے کے دکھ درد میں برابر کے شریک رہے۔ اگر میں یہ کہوں کہ یہ پیار و محبت کا رشتہ ہندوستانی قوم کی رگ و ریشے میں موجود تھا اور ہر لیول پر پایا جاتا تھا تو شاید غلط نہ ہوگا، کیونکہ ہمیں راجاؤں اور بادشاہوں کے یہاں بڑے بڑے پدوں پر دونوں ہی دھرموں کے لوگ مل جل کر کام کرتے نظر آتے ہیں۔ واستو میں ہندوستان کبھی بھی سیاسی اور ملکی معاملات میں ہندو مسلم بھید بھاؤ کا قائل نہیں رہا۔ اس کی حکومتیں چاہے مسلم حاکموں کے پربھاؤ میں رہی ہوں یا ہندو راجاؤں کے، وہ کبھی کسی پرکار کے بھید بھاؤ والی نہیں رہیں، چاہے وہ مہاراجہ رنجیت سنگھ رہے ہوں یا مغل سمراٹ۔ سبھی کے یہاں بڑے بڑے پدوں پر ہندو اور مسلمان کندھے سے کندھا ملا کر وفاداری ادا کرتے نظر آتے ہیں۔ یہاں تک کہ بابر نے جب اپنے بیٹے ہمایوں کو وصیت کی تو اس نے کہا، اے بیٹے، ہندوستان مختلف دھرموں کا دیش ہے، اللہ کا شکر ہے کہ اس نے تم کو اس کی بادشاہت دی ہے۔ تمہیں چاہیے کہ تمام دھارمک بھید بھاؤ کو دل سے مٹا دو اور انصاف کرنے میں ہر دھرم اور ہر قوم کا خیال رکھو۔ اس کے بغیر تم ہندوستانی لوگوں کے دلوں پر حکومت نہیں کر سکو گے۔ اس ملک کی رعایا پیار، محبت، رحم و مہربانی سے اپنائی جا سکتی ہے۔ جو قوم حکومت کے فرما برداروں کے ساتھ انصاف نہیں کرتی، ان کے عبادت خانوں کو برباد کرتی ہے، ان کے ساتھ ایسا کرنے سے ان کو جیتا نہیں جا سکتا۔ ان کے ساتھ ایسا انصاف اور معاملہ کرو کہ وہ خوش ہو جائیں۔ ظلم و ستم کے مقابلے میں احسان اور محبت سے اسلام شکتیشالی ہوگا۔ ہر پرکار کے دھارمک جھگڑوں سے دور رہو۔ جس طرح انسان کے جسم میں 4 ایلیمنٹ مل جل کر کام کر رہے ہیں، اسی طرح مختلف دھرموں کی رعایا کو ملا جلا کر رکھو اور ان کے میل ملاپ کے نتیجے میں اس ملک کا جسم ایک صحت مند جسم ہوگا۔ اسی ملی جلی تہذیب کا نتیجہ تھا کہ آج ہندو اور مسلمانوں کی آبادیاں، بازار، کاروباری زندگی سب ملی جلی ہیں، یہاں تک کہ اس میل ملاپ نے ایک ملی جلی زبان کو ایجاد کرنے پر دونوں کو مجبور کیا، جس کے نتیجے میں ہندوستانی یا اردو زبان وجود میں آئی۔ انگریزی دور حکومت اس زمین پر وہ پہلا دور تھا جس میں لڑاؤ اور حکومت کرنے کی ناپاک پالیسی اختیار کی گئی، اس کا نتیجہ ہے کہ آج ہم ایک ایسے دوراہے پر کھڑے ہیں جہاں ایک طرف انگریزوں کا پیدا کیا ہوا ہندو مسلم کا فرق ہے، جس نے دونوں ہی دلوں کو توڑا، لاکھوں کا خون بہایا، اربوں خربوں کی دولت برباد کی، پیار محبت کی جگہ دلوں میں نفرت اور دشمنی کو ہر سطح پر ابھارا اور اجاگر کیا، جبکہ دوسری طرف ہماری پیار محبت بھری گنگا جمنی تہذیب کی وہ تاریخ اور رسم و رواج ہیں جنہیں ابھی میں نے آپ کے سامنے بیان کیا ہے۔ حضرات، جس طرح آگ کو آگ سے نہیں بجھایا جا سکتا، اسی طرح فرقہ پرستی اور نفرت کو فرقہ پرستی اور نفرت سے نہیں مٹایا جا سکتا۔ اس ملک میں امن و امان اور بھائی چارے کا ماحول پیدا کرنا ہے تو ہمیں اپنی پرانی سبھیتا کو پھر زندہ کرنا ہوگا، پیار محبت کے دیے جلانے ہوں گے۔ اس کے لیے ہمیں بہت محنت اور کوشش کرنے کی آوشکتا ہے۔ مانا کہ یہ کام کٹھن ہے پر ناممکن ہرگز نہیں ہے۔ آج کی یہ کانفرنس اسی مقصد کی پورتی کے لیے بلائی گئی ہماری ایک چھوٹی سی کوشش ہے، تاکہ صلح اور محبت کے دیے جلاتے ہوئے مسلک اور دھرم سے اوپر اٹھ کر ہم انسانیت کے رشتوں کو مضبوط کرنے کی کوشش کریں اور اپنی صدیوں پرانی روایات کو زندہ کرنے کا کام کریں، تاکہ یہ ملک ایک بار پھر امن اور شانتی بھائی چارے کا گہوارہ بن جائے۔ آپ کے سامنے اسٹیج پر بیٹھے ہوئے یہ بڑے بڑے مہاتما اور ودوان जो हमारी दावत पर यहाँ तशरीफ़ लाए हैं, हमारे इसी हौसले को बढ़ाने और इसमें अपना सहयोग देने के लिए यहाँ तशरीफ़ लाए और हमारी दावत कबूल की। हम पर ये जो एहसान इन्होंने किया है हम उसको कभी फरामोश नहीं कर सकते। इन सभी हजरात का मैं जामिया की तरफ से और अपने शोबे इस्लामिक स्टडीज़ की तरफ से, उसके असातिज़ा और तलबा की तरफ से और इंटरफेथ फाउंडेशन की तरफ से दिल की गहराइयों से उनको वेलकम करता हूँ, उनका इस्तकबाल करता हूँ और शुक्रिया अदा करता हूँ कि आपने हमारी दावत कबूल फरमाकर बड़ा करम फरमाया। शुक्रिया बहुत बहुत। हज़रात, मैं अब डॉक्टर वर्मा साहब से निवेदन करूँगा कि वो मुख्तसर तौर पर इस सेमिनार के बारे में कुछ अपने विचार प्रकट करें।
जनाब साहिब सदर, वाइस चांसलर साहब, स्वामी कृष्णी गुरु श्रद्धानंद जी महाराज, स्वामी शांत आत्मानंदा जी, अख्तरुल वासी साहब, मेरे दोस्त रज़ाई कमाल साहब, my dear students, my colleagues, friends, ladies and gentlemen. The conference this morning is the result of a dialogue between the head of the Department Islamic Studies, Jamia Millia, and myself. And I'm grateful to him that we became partner of such an august university. The purpose of organizing this conference is not an intellectual debate, nor a declamation, nor to deliver impressionistic speeches. We have a purpose in our mind, and that is through such dialogues we should be able to create a spiritual atmosphere in the country, reduce tension, reduce problems, reduce the hiatus and the gulf that exists between or among various communities. Now I wish to say a couple of words. For the last 1 decade, please pay attention to what I'm going to say, I have been holding dialogue for the last 10-15 years every day at my place. You will be surprised. What kind of dialogue is M.M. Verma claiming to have been holding for the last 15 years, uninterrupted, unstopped, without break? For 15 years, is it feasible? Yes. And the prophets, the gurus, the Mahatmas, Rishis, who have been participating in this dialogue are Krishna, or Buddha, or Jesus, or Hazrat Muhammad, Guru Nanak. They are standing at different paths, one here, one here, one here. And I've been holding this dialogue for the last 15 years. I have not found any dispute among them. They shake hands with each other, and each one of them is holding a sacred and a holy granth, a holy pothi, a holy book in his hand. And when they deliver the message which is enshrined in their holy books, I find no difference in essence. Basically, the message being delivered by Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, Hazrat Muhammad, and Guru Nanak, message is the same. Krishna is telling us that there are 3 ways to self-realization. First, you gain knowledge. Then you should be devoted to me, do my bhakti. And these 2 paths, these 2 strategies are not enough. Third thing is also very essential, and that is you have to do your dharma I'm not talking of religion. Krishna is not talking of religion. He is talking of dharma. You do your duty, and without doing your duty selflessly, in a disinterested manner, you will not reach me, you will not get self-realization, you will achieve nothing. So these are the three kernel, three sterling, three basic sovereign points given by Krishna to us. Then the Buddha tells us the eightfold noble path: right in everything, right thinking, right action, right speaking, right, everything right. And that is what has been told by Krishna also. Do thy duty. When you are doing your duty, everything is right. Then I lend my ears to Jesus also. He says, love thy neighbor, give charity, give help, be nice, be loving. He gives me such a good advice. Then I listen to Hazrat Muhammad. I see his hadiths, his sayings and doings which are enshrined in the hadiths, such pious sayings and doings. I am delighted to listen to Hazrat Muhammad. Then I see the Holy Quran as well, and I find wonderful message of Holy Quran. I mean, the whole book runs into the praise of the Lord, in praise of truth, in praise. You can call this truth by any names, and in Islam this truth has been christened, this truth has been named 99 times, 99 ways of expressing the truth. Truth is the truth. You may call him Allah, you may call him Rahim, you may call him Ram, you may call him Krishna. These are only the names that we have given to truth. You may, Gandhi called truth as God. You give truth any name you like. Truth remains truth, whatever be the name, irrespective of the names that you give to it. Truth is not changed at all. Then such a wonderful thing. There is a teaching of peace all through Islam, all through the Holy Quran teaches peace, praise to God and peace. And then the most wonderful thing that I listen to or that I read from the Holy Quran is that Muhammad Sahab, there have been so many prophets who have come on this earth. God sent, as it is said in Hadith, God sent 1,24,000 prophets. I'm simply of the opinion, I'm not getting into logistics or the number or the figure, but I feel all the prophets have given basically the same message of non-violence, of truth, of compassion, of fellow feeling, of united or integrated humanity, of brotherhood. These are the various messages in different languages which have been imparted to people by different prophets, by different rishis, by different gurus. There is no difference at all. And if I have to, I am a humble seeker of truth, and then I see the truth expressed in various other surahs and ayats. In, say, Surah 2, ayat 177, do good deeds. Then Surah 20, ayat 123, 124, they say if religious traditions are lost, if you ignore the messages of the prophets, then you are bound to suffer. And then I see that advice is given to us by Allah, it's the command of God that you respect all prophets, you respect all scriptures which have been hitherto revealed before Muhammad, and the names of about 25 prophets and scriptures are mentioned in the Holy Quran. Pay respect to each one of them that is ordained in the Holy Quran. Then it is said, do only good deeds, and those who give shelter or support to evildoers, the kafirs are evildoers. Those who do not believe in God are kafirs. Those who do not believe His command are kafirs. Those who irritate and kill His creatures are kafirs. They are evildoers, they are sinners. God takes the responsibility of punishing them Himself, but then you keep a distance from them. Don't sit with the evildoers, don't get close to them, keep them at an arm's length, keep them away. And then the Holy Quran tells us, if a wicked person, the offerings of a wicked person are not acceptable. That's revealed in Surah 9, 9 ayat 52. And then Surah 9, ayat 55. It is revealed in Surah 2, ayat 241, to respect the scriptures and prophets. Surah 2, ayat 285. You read all these surahs and all these ayats, you will find at peace. You will see everything is so nice. You will feel so comfortable, and you will not feel uncomfortable in receiving the message from the Holy Quran or when you listen to Hazrat Muhammad. There is no difference. And then you pay heed to Guru Nanak. He says there is no Hindu, there is no Muslim. All are the children of God. All are the same. And then his 10th Guru in Sikhism, he says there is no difference in Mandir, Masjid, Gurdwara and church. All are the same. Prayer, namaz, ardas, mass, all are the same. And then it's very beautifully remarked in Sukhmani Sahib, Canto 24, subject matter of all the religions is the same. If I have to sum up the subject matter of all religions, I would say all religions are devoted only to 4 things. And one is to understand what God is, what truth is, and to praise the truth, to sing songs in His glory. And then number 3, understand that He is the creator of everything. We are all of us, or us all, are His children. And if we are children of one God, then we are real brothers, we are not cousins. Awwal Allah noor upaye, kudrat be sab bande, ik noor to sab jag upje, kaun bhale, kaun mande. There is no difference in people as such. I mean, when you hear these things from Guru Nanak, when you hear these things from Kabir, when you hear these things from Guru Gobind Sahib, then you feel there is no difference in the Gurus, in the Pegambars, in the Mahatmas who are standing at the threshold of these paths. And gentlemen, these 10-15 years that I've been listening to the dialogue among these prophets, I see no difference. And I think if any one of us, you may follow the path shown by Hazrat Muhammad. The other person may follow the path shown by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita or in Bible, or you follow any one of the paths. All roads lead to Rome. But the truth of the matter is, you will reach Rome, you will reach the destination only when you are treading the right path. If you tread a wrong path, you will not reach there. And manzil mile na mile, मुझे इसका गम नहीं, मंजिल की जुस्तजू में मेरा कारवां चले. So what really matters is that I'm on the right road. Whether it's shown by Krishna, Jesus, Muhammad, Guru Nanak or Buddha, all these paths are noble paths. They reach the truth, and that truth is far, far off. We should not be worried whether we have been able to realize ourselves fully, as Mahatma Buddha says, but I will be satisfied if I breathe my last on this path. I am walking on this path. And gentlemen, I need not mention that I've just published a book on Bhagavad Gita, and that is a book of knowledge, which can be read by people of all communities. It's a book for all people. This is how we should translate our religious scriptures in simple, non-denominational languages, so that they are accessible, reachable, so that their message reaches to people who do not know Pali or Hebrew or Sanskrit or Arabic. Those who do not know these ancient, beautiful languages, let's translate our scriptures in simplest possible languages so that they reach them. So I worship all these gurus, all these prophets, and I see them in a dialogue, shaking hands with each other. I feel comfortable with each one of them, and all these paths lead on to Him. Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सर मौलाना साहब, बहुत तफसील के साथ और बहुत ही खूबसूरत तरीके से आपने पूरी बात बयान फरमाई. अब मैं दरख्वास्त करूँगा अपने मोहतरम मेहमान खुसूसी जनाब वाइस चांसलर साहब से कि वो तशरीफ़ लाएँ और अपने ख़यालात से हमें नवाजें.
मौलाना जलालुद्दीन उमरी साहब, स्वामी कर्शनी गुरु शरणानंद जी, स्वामी शांत आत्मानंद जी, श्री एस.एन. साहू, प्रोफेसर M.M. वर्मा, प्रोफेसर अख्तर उलवासे, प्रोफेसर रज़ी अहमद कमाल साहब, my very esteemed guests from outside the Jamia and distinguished colleagues. It's a privilege, sir, to welcome all of you to this institution, Jamia Islamia, which right from its inception has the tradition of agreeing to disagree and also respecting the diversity and the plurality of this country, whether that is of religion, region, language, beliefs, customs, traditions. You all have added to the glory and the respect of this institution by agreeing to be present on this occasion as part of this seminar, which is a part of the Foundation Day celebrations. We are celebrating 93 years of our establishment. And throughout the history of this institution, which also in a limited way is the history of this great country, we find that the Interfaith Dialogue continues to have a topical value for 10 decades and more. Dialogues certainly is a part of democracy. There should be dialogue on all issues, problems, and concerns. But the very fact that interfaith dialogue and the need of it is felt at different stages of the society, I think is a question, is a point to really ponder upon, that why is it not the fact that maybe after some years, some decades, that interfaith dialogue became a non-issue and therefore it was not required. जैसे वर्मा साहब ने फरमाया, he has been engaged in the interfaith dialogue for the past 15 years. I think it's important also that we take the dialogues beyond the dialogues. I think there is also a need to take interfaith action as the next agenda. India is a country which faces a large number of problems, and those problems affect people irrespective of what their faith is, like poverty, like lack of health facilities, like ignorance, like education, illiteracy. I think these are the problems which affect all of us. Can't we have interfaith action on issues like these? Another point which I wanted to share with you and very humbly present to you is that the forums like these are very important, no doubt, because I think the educated, the religious, the social leaders and the like who are privileged in the society, they are the opinion makers, and therefore their interaction and dialogues amongst them is important. But at the same time, I believe that unless these interactions, unless these dialogues are taken to the grassroots amongst the common people, masses, the value and the import of interfaith dialogue will remain limited. We have to think ways and means so that how people belonging to different faith in the streets, on the roads, come together and have a dialogue. Number 3, I think the interfaith dialogue is also very severely limited by ethnocentrism. The belief in one's own religion and faith superiority over others, I think, is the biggest block to any kind of a interfaith dialogue. It is very natural, I suppose, that we consider our religion as superior to others without saying so. It is natural also because otherwise how do we justify our belonging to a particular faith and our not belonging to a different faith? We have to think how to overcome that obstacle. Any dialogue is going to be productive, effective, result-oriented when we recognize that the people who are entering into a dialogue are equals and nobody is superior or nobody is inferior. This to my mind is a great challenge to the interfaith dialogues. Lastly, I think religions, they have common values, as has been elaborated by my distinguished predecessors, Professor Verma. Every religion has universal aspects. And I think it is important that we concentrate on those universal aspects. But at the same time, I think it is also important to sometimes distinguish the religion from its followers. Because amongst the followers, amongst the practices, I think there have crept several evils which are not sanctioned by the religion. There have crept certain practices which are not approved by the religion. But if we start judging the religion by some of the actions of its followers, it will be great disrespect and injustice to the religion. I think the one example which I will quote, I think from Islam and Muslims, one very, very practice which I think we all must denounce, condemn in the strongest possible words. What has been happening and what have been seen is increasing the kind of a disorderly behavior of the Muslim youth on the eve of a Shab-e-Barat on the streets of Delhi is not sanctioned by religion, is nothing to do with religion. But this act will be interpreted as something which is related to Islam. It has not even a remote relationship, I am very sure. Number 2, I think that part of the religion which is the ritual part, which is very critically important. Like in Islam, there is a concept of 2 sets of rights. Huququl Allah, right towards Allah, and rights towards Huququl Ibad, rights towards other fellow living beings, not only human beings, fellow living beings which include animals, which include plants, which include environment. And if you look at Quran and the religion, it says the primacy which is given is to rights towards fellow living beings and not towards the rights towards Allah, because it says that this is a matter between God and the people. So if you do not fulfill your rights towards me, I might forgive you. But if you fail to fulfill your rights towards your fellow living beings, then those I cannot grant forgiveness to you unless the person whose rights have been violated forgives you. And that is, I think, the true indicator of the influence of religion, because that is what guided our social interaction. That is what guide our interaction with others. My relation, my role as father, mother, sister, teacher, neighbor, all is guided by hukukul ibad and not hukukul Allah. And this is what we need to integrate in our conduct. And we find that is the most difficult part. That is why I think that is practiced to a lesser extent as compared to the other part, which is offering prayers, keeping fast, and others. Hukukul Allah. I think the day when we are able to ensure that our behavior is guided by and we are in a position to fulfill our rights towards our fellow living beings, I think that will be the day when we would establish the supremacy of religion. Religion has never been a problem, I think, neither in India nor in the world. It has always been the political usage of the religion which has been the problem. We also have to think that why certain forces which are interested to make a political use of religion are stronger than, even though they are fewer in numbers, but why they are stronger than all other forces which believe in the constructive use of the religion, which believes that religion is something which is very private to me, and the public demonstration of that religion is actually a problem. I think we also have to think that why we keep on, howsoever aberrations it may be, howsoever infrequent it may be, why Muzaffarnagar continue to happen. In spite of our beliefs in the common values, in spite of our belief, why suddenly, in a place which is not known for any kind of a religious communal rights, something happens and we allow it to happen? I think unless we ensure the safety, security of the people, irrespective of what they eat, what they follow, who do they think their God is, unless we ensure the safety of the human life and the dignity of the human life in this country, I think all efforts will be a complete waste. So I leave you with these questions, with these thoughts. I'm sure that to find the answers is not an easy task. But I think we have to focus our attention to continue to maintain this struggle and try to find answers and solutions and the practices which perhaps would make this the need for interfaith dialogue, at least in respect of creating communal harmony, as irrelevant someday, because the communal harmony will be established and we would feel that there is a complete understanding about each other's religion. So we need to go beyond the dialogues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Very well.
In the beginning, our distinguished guest, Mr. S.N. Sahu, was not present. Now he has come. I request Mr. Muhammad Umar please come and present the plan to our guest, Mr. S.N. Sahu, Joint Secretary, Rajya Sabha. Now I'll request Swami Shantananda, Secretary Ramakrishna Mission, please deliver your lecture.
Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. Om peace, peace, peace. My very distinguished panel on the dais, the other distinguished visitors, guests, faculty of this wonderful university, the students. I should really thank the authorities of Jamia, Millia, Islamia, and also the Interfaith Foundation for organizing this wonderful occasion for all of us to participate, deliberate, and again renew our pledge for a collective life of peace and harmony. It was so refreshing to hear the Vice Chancellor speak. He really hit the nail on the head by pointing out some of the real problems and also in which direction the solution lays. As was introduced, I belong to the Ramakrishna Mission, established by Swami Vivekananda, was the first religious leader to proclaim the message of harmony in the World Parliament of Religions held in Chicago in the year 1893, that is 120 years ago. He said, henceforth, upon the banner of every religion, in spite of resistance, it will be written, help and not fight, assimilate and not destruct, harmony and peace and not dissension. So, as our Vice Chancellor was also speaking, the dialogues have been going on and on and on. But somewhere we seem to miss the point, or somehow we are unable to go to the real destination, achieve the kind of peace and harmony that many of the really good thinking souls who have gathered here, all of us wish things to be so. Where exactly is the problem? As he also rightly said, these discussions are often held in an atmosphere where all are equally oriented towards such an idea. I don't think we need to hold a big one-day seminar to tell the people here who have assembled about the merits or the value or the need, because all of us, I think, are more than fully aware. Probably each one of you can give perhaps even a better lecture or a better discourse than many of us. So, now, as he said, in fact, I have also spoken about this in many other forums, that we should have a kind of a team consisting of representatives of religious, different religions, who can really work very effectively, both in times of peace and also in times of conflict. Can we create such a kind of a task force who are really ready to stick their necks out if necessary and go and work amongst people in such times? Now let us be very honest. To talk comfortably in an atmosphere like this is very good. Are we ready to go when the chips are down, when things are really hot, when it's really difficult? Not only that, it's also necessary to carry this message down to the level of the followers even during times of peace. And not only that, it is not a question of carrying it to the general masses. I feel that all the religions would do a greater service to the humanity by taking the message to their own masses. I really would like to ask honestly, can the leaders of different religions say with certainty that they go and carry this message of harmony to their own followers? I doubt very much. Quite often this is kept apart for inter-dialogue meets, and when they meet their own followers, they tell a different message. That is a real problem. They don't really articulate these ideas of harmony. I don't know, perhaps it's a fear of loss of flock or numbers or whatever it is. Certainly, many of them do not do it. I know it for certain. So, one thing is, unless we really take this message, it's a responsibility. One thing is a collective responsibility where the religious leaders of different religions go together and work amongst masses, where people of different faiths are present, to work among them, and more specifically, the religious leaders to go to their own flock, their own followers, and say clearly, this is what is interfaith harmony means, and this is what is really essential to establish a world of peace and harmony. This is extremely necessary. And apart from that, one more idea which is very important is, we only talk of interfaith understanding. I feel that intrafaith understanding is even much more necessary. Much of the problems today in several parts of the world, not only in India, the problem is more from the lack of intrafaith understanding rather than interfaith understanding. I don't have to elaborate this. Most of you are well aware of what's happening everywhere in the world. So this also needs to be really addressed. Now Swami Vivekananda said somewhere, of course he did not say this exactly in the context of a religion. He spoke in a very general sense, but that's extremely effective even for those who are trying to go ahead in the field of establishing peace and harmony. He said, 3 things are really necessary to make any man or any nation great. One is faith in the powers of goodness. As our Vice Chancellor also said, how is it that a handful of bad or rogue elements are holding the entire society or nation to ransom? What happens to the millions and millions of good people? Supposing you take the statistics today in India, out of a 120 billion population, today there will be hardly even 5% who are really bad or who are really to be condemned or who are oriented otherwise, who don't have a feeling of harmony, who have a feeling of disharmony or communalism and all that. How is it that they are holding to ransom the 95% of the people? That is because those who are good, they do not have faith in their own goodness. They are not ready to stand up and speak for what is good. So that is why Swami Vivekananda said, if any man or nation is to become great, one should have faith in the powers of goodness. And the second, he said, is the absence of jealousy and hatred. This is so important in a context of interfaith understanding. And finally, he said, trying to help those who are trying to be good and do good to others. That means, unless we are able to synergize the forces which are trying to good, which are trying to be good, in which all of us come under that banner, under that umbrella, it's really difficult to carry this forward. So, this kind of a association, this kind of an action plan, this kind of a team which can really go down to the level of masses and spread this message of harmony is so very important. Now, coming to the problem itself, why exactly is this idea of harmony not really striking the target? Why are we not able to achieve this? I wish to tell a very small story, very interesting story, perhaps that gives you some idea. There was a girl studying in a school. She was very young, maybe about 8 or 9 years, 8 years or so, or even less. So her teacher wanted to teach her some basics, addition of mathematics. She said, see my dear, supposing I give you now one apple and then another apple and then another apple. How many apples will you have? The girl said 4. So the teacher was shocked. What is this? Again she repeated, now I give you 1, after 2 minutes another, and after 2 minutes another. How many apples will you have? Madam, 4. And then the teacher was shocked. What is this? Yesterday I taught, she is not remembering. Then he said, supposing I give you 1 cherry now, after 5 minutes another cherry, and after 5 minutes another cherry. How many cherries will you have? She said, teacher, madam, 3. Oh, now she is catching. Then again after 2 minutes she repeated, darling, please tell me, now I give you 1 apple, after 2 minutes another, and after 2 minutes another 2. How many? Again she said 4. Teacher was so shocked. You are naughty. You don't want to say correctly, and this and that. She scolded so much. Then the child came on. Madam, when I left my school, my mother put an apple in my bag. So the idea is, all of us are basically carrying our own apples. When someone tries to thrust something upon you, really disregarding or forgetting what is inherent in you, that is causing much of this problem of disharmony. So, whenever we try to address these issues of interfaith understanding, interfaith dialogue, etc., we should always remember and give provision and accommodate the inherent different tendencies, possibilities, qualities in man. That is why, Swami Vivekananda, he gave a very broad definition. He said human minds, human types can be put under 4 broad categories. Those who are emotional, those who are reason-oriented, rational, those who are extremely action-oriented, and those who are mystic and who are contemplative. And accordingly, he designed the 4 yogas as Bhakti, Jnana, Karma, and Raja. And accordingly, he said, all religions, the different religions represent different aspects of these qualities, and accordingly, people can choose. Now, basically, Swami Vivekananda himself drew everything he learned, everything at the feet of his Guru, Sri Ramakrishna. And Sri Ramakrishna was as a real champion of harmony, because he not only spoke of harmony mere by theory, because he was literally an unlettered person, he hadn't even gone to school, but he had practiced the different disciplines of various religions, including that of Islam, and then by his own experience, he had realized that all these religions lead to the same ultimate truth. We don't have much of a time, but I would like to briefly tell you what this idea of Sri Ramakrishna's harmony is. Basically, it is on the idea of pluralism, where we feel that there are all the religions are true, the revelations are many, the paths are many, all are valid. These are some of the basic ideas underlying that. To put his own idea of harmony very specifically, there are 5 basic ideas. One is, he says, the ultimate truth is one, but it can be described variously. Why he said he was, ultimate truth cannot be limited and said that it's only this much. And this he elaborated in the second idea, namely, he said, religion is realization, practice, sadhana. Mere theories can never take you anywhere. So because he put emphasis on practice or sadhana, that is why he said, whatever you do, practice, when you reach the ultimate goal, it's not possible for you to come down from that state and describe correctly what exactly was it. Supposing, I am telling the entire group in this hall, supposing we are suddenly taken, a Vice Chancellor arranges a beautiful air-conditioned bus and takes all of us to a very beautiful spot, a natural scenery. Now we are allowed to see, we come back. All of us have seen the same thing, together, same time, for the same amount of time. When you come back, the description of each one of us will be different in some form or other. That is what Sri Ramakrishna said. Your experience can never be clothed in words in the exact form, because experience is transcendental, it is beyond mind, it is beyond senses. When you try to describe it, there is a limitation, there is a difficulty. That is why the truths of various great religious personalities, prophets and others and avatars, when they describe it also, much more when their followers describe, quite often the great founders, avatars, they did not say anything. When it was described by others, I borrow someone else's experience and put it in words, obviously it's not going to be the same as original. So even, Dr. Verma was saying about right path. In fact, he went even further. Even if you go by a wrong path, if you are very genuine, if an aspiration is correct, if you have that intense longing for reaching the goal, he says a superior power will guide you onto the right path. Because how do I know which path, the path I am taking, how do I know it is right? It's only an assumption. But basically, if you have that intent that you want to reach a goal, you are powered, you are egged on, you are inspired by an ideal to reach a goal, to reach a spiritual ultimate goal, obviously your path will be ultimately corrected, because your goal, your idea, your intention, that is noble, that is pure. Then he said, although you may have, he himself traversed different paths and reached the goal, but what he said was, you must have nishtha, you must have steadfastness to your own chosen path, and that is very necessary. Otherwise, it will be like digging well in several places. You won't get water. You have to dig at the same point. So you may belong to a religion, you may adopt anything. Stick to that, but your path, your aspiration, your goal-mindedness should be perfect, and you should be undaunting in that. That is what would lead you. And finally, he said, even as you traverse along a particular path, do not even for a moment try to criticize or speak negatively about anything, because if you are so careful, so goal-minded, you have no time to turn this way or that way. So he said that is why he laid so much emphasis on practice. He said religion is realization. These are some of the basic ideas which he talked about. And ultimately, if all of us have to really achieve something in the direction of peace and harmony, it's time that we all join together. Religion should not only be restricted to just practices in the temple or in our private chambers. We should enter public life. In fact, that is what religious people can do. We can go and carry this message in ever so many ways and create a better society, a society where all of us can live in peace and harmony. Thank you.